Notice as you go up and down the planet, the moon angle changes. This is a navigational trick known for centuries traveling up and down the planet. We had this to tell us where we were. Going this way was problem because going this way the moon stays looking the same normally. However, lately it hasn't been, has it? More navigational expertise up and down on the planet. It makes the moon roll, not hourly in your front yard. That's new. This is how sailors have navigated up and down the planet for centuries.
We're basically looking at the back of the moon.
This right here is specifically for that narcissistic bastard, Evil Lee, who claims that a Navy man trained to navigate using this tool doesn't understand the orbit. Well, Lee, I think you're the one that doesn't understand the orbit.
And for that reason, we only see the dark half. The other half is still lit. It's just facing the sun, so we don't see it. Because the moon is between the Earth and the sun, it's only visible from the side of the Earth that's facing the sun, or daytime. During the new moon, the Earth, moon, and sun are pretty much in a straight line in space. For this reason, the moon stays near the sun in the sky, rising at sunrise and setting at sunset. Because it's up for most of the day, and because we're looking at the dark half, it's really hard to see the new moon without the help of a telescope. After a couple days of the moon's orbit around the Earth, the illuminated face of the moon begins to grow, which appears as a curved line to us.
He's explaining the orbit.
Because of its curved shape, and because the lit portion is growing, we call it the waxing crescent moon, where waxing means growing, and crescent means crescent.
Hold on. Let's freeze it there and let's go look up the definition of waxing, because I seem to think it means the right side of the moon is illuminated from the northern hemisphere, not the right then the left later, which is what's going on every night. Northern hemisphere specifically, waxing moon, right side lit to the 50% lit disk. Then it's the first quarter. Southern hemisphere specifically, left side lit. Very specifically. Okay, back to the orbit.
About 7 days after the new moon, or 25% of the moon's orbit around the Earth,
after the new
moon is now at 90 degrees off to one side. At this point, we're looking directly at the line that separates the light half from the dark half. Now, because the moon is a quarter of the way through the cycle, we call it the first quarter moon, even though clearly we can see half of the moon. I don't know. We gotta do better with these names, guys.
See, Lee?
The first quarter moon rises around noon and sets at midnight.
Notice it rises right side lit.
The first quarter moon rises around noon and sets at midnight.
It sets right side lit. The bunny ears down and Tycho crater about 7 o'clock on the moon face. That is normal for my latitude. It should never do this. Now, here's the thing. These are real sky observations with timestamps. This is the only legitimate fucking evidence acceptable. You can't pin a picture of the moon to a wire and set it up. You've got to look at the moon from Earth's view. Laying on your back with pictures of the moon pinned to a wire is not the way it's going down anymore. It used to rise wax and set wax. Now it's rising wax and setting wane clearly every night.
Noon and sets at midnight.
Same side lit.
As the moon enters the second quarter of its orbit, the illuminated face that we see from Earth begins to grow even further. This is called the...
Hopefully you're getting to understand from watching simple little kindergarten cartoons. Your fucking moon isn't supposed to be doing a cartwheel every night. Yet it is. This is an astronomer's page who follows the moon quite often, as you can see, by hand. This is 5 hours on this video. Over the course of 12 hours, it flips 180 degrees. Got Lee saying there's no pictures of it. Lee, there's video of it for years doing the same thing, pal. Doing the same thing. Well, some of them you're going to have to watch the video. Because she has problems locking it in. This here's only about 3 hours. You can see it tilted quite a bit in 3 hours. It shouldn't.
Full moon of winter, and so we have one more full moon of winter, and then it's going to be getting to be spring. Right? You'll love this. Left, bereft. When you look at the moon, and it's a right-handed moon, you know the moon is waxing. It's going towards a full moon.
In the North Hemisphere.
Cycle, and it's going toward the full moon. If it's a left-handed moon, you're at the end of a cycle, and it's going to be a new moon soon because it's bereft. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think it's the opposite if you're in the southern hemisphere, but
there you go.
For us in the northern hemisphere.
But it shouldn't mix from your front porch every night because you go out and look at it. You don't have to lay on your back and string pictures of the moon on a wire. For God's sake. Look at the moon. She said, look at the moon. You go outside and you look at the moon. She didn't say paste a fucking picture on the wire. You go outside and you look at the moon. The moon always keeps the same side and face to us, but not exactly the same face because of the tilt shape of the orbit. We see the moon slightly different angles over the course of a month. Not a night, but a month. When a month is compressed into 24 seconds, it is, in animation, our changing view of the moon makes it look like it's wobbling. The wobbling is called libration. Libration. This shows the orbit and the inclination per hour with libration. This little wobble it does is the libration, 7.7 degrees per night. It should never roll 180 degrees, which it is, every night now. Why? Here, we'll go over this real quick.
Through the middle. If you put more mass on one side than the other, the center line will shift. Earth scientists have actually known for years that the Earth's axis does naturally shift around. For example, rock slowly circulating deep inside Earth's mantle causes the planet's mass to shift. Shifts are also caused when humans pump out masses of water that are naturally stored underground. For example, in India in 2010, people moved 92 trillion gallons of water from underground reservoirs onto agricultural fields. But scientists now know that human-caused climate change is also responsible for what scientists call polar drift. In other words, the shifting of Earth's axis.
Oh.
Scientists did actually know that polar drift was happening as early as the 90s, but they didn't have the technology to know what caused it. But recent research has added more compelling evidence. For example, in 2016, NASA scientists used satellite observations to show that major ice loss played a big role nudging Earth's axis eastward, starting around the year 2000. And new research found Earth's axis started its eastward swing away from the south a little earlier, starting in the 90s. Here's what's going on. For starters, water is really, really heavy.
So they're blaming glacier melt for Earth's axis shifting. Earth's axis shifted in the last 25 years, they say. It shifted. It moved. It shifted. It shifted. Everybody says it shifted. Therefore, the sky is doing different tricks. It is not normal at all. Polaris is not in the same place it used to be. Earth's axis shifted. For God's sake. When the sun goes down tonight, Orion will be laying on his back, and he shouldn't be. Everywhere you look, Earth sky, everybody tells you to go look in the southwest part of the sky. Southwest part of the sky if you're in the northern hemisphere. West. However, at sunset, he's directly east, laying on his back, with these stars straight up and down, and him laying on his back, and he shouldn't be. Again, it shows him standing straight up, and it tells you Orion is in the southwest sky if you're in the northern hemisphere. It tells you you can see it from November to February. Well, you can clearly see him in the east at sunset every night, laying on his back. None of that's normal. None of it. But you can see it with your own eyes. You see, every sunset, he's on the east. He's directly east, on his back. New tricks. Now, Thaddeus here is obviously a cult member of suspicious observers. The planetary axis shift is normal, he says. Well, we just went through that. It's an abnormal axis shift due to abnormalities because of melting glaciers. Melting glaciers have shifted the Earth's axis, Thaddeus. You're a goddamn idiot because you suck on fucking suspicious observers' Kool-Aid. Fuck you, Ben Davidson. You're a piece of shit, dude. Your lies cost lives.